Smart money trading in FX seems to have prevailed once again. I want to let you guys understand what the institutional side was saying about the Japanese yen for the month of May and how we aligned our strategy and ideology with that same sentiment in order to reap the profit on the yen that we have today. I mentioned on May 3rd where our directional bias was for many of the currencies. This is what I mentioned about the yen. So keep an eye out on the Japanese yen for the month of May because there's apparently going to be some talks about how they can push the currency to be a little bit stronger, and that could catalyze us to maybe hit back off on the range here before we turn back over. Yeah, that just seems a lot of retests are coming into the market today. All right, so that was recorded May 3rd. It's now May 18th, and we have been taking a lot of yen buy positions, right? So even here, May 12th, stops on USDJPY should be moved in profit, blah, blah, blah. This is our smart money chat room, but most recently, we were here on the CADJPY sell side where we were looking for some yen strength, and we're getting an immense amount of yen strength here today, right? At any point in time, you guys can pause the video to look at exactly what our entries and targets were and whatnot. But by and large, Goldman Sachs, they mentioned they wanted to see the yen at 128, all right? And they think that in 2023, we're gonna start to see that yen pull back sell side back towards the 123 numbers, okay? And so that was a really awesome situation for us because we understood that the yen has been hit extremely hard. And the BOJ has been putting out a lot of information about wanting to see a better increase in the currency, because if we pull out here on the Japanese yen, you can see that from March, we've had a tremendous amount of sell side that came in, right? But what was this? Why were markets hemorrhaging so horrifically? Well, while all other central banks were talking about raising rates, the European bank raised rates, New Zealand dollar raised rates, the US dollar raised rates, the Canadian dollar raised rates, the Bank of Japan said they're not going to raise rates in the most inflationary environment that we have ever seen in the modern decade, right? They don't want to raise rates. And so that really spooked investors where they all basically said the Japanese yen is done. And so we saw a tremendous amount of sell side come in on the Japanese yen in those early months, Q1 of 2022. We were actually taking a lot of Japanese yen sell side. Go back and look at on the channel what we're looking for on the Japanese yen, and you'll see that there. I'll put some of the links there in the description below. All right, and so that thing came ripping sell side only to start to stall out right around the time all the banks started to raise rates, and many people are now just trying to see exactly where the global market is going to head next, moving out of Q2 into Q3. This, by the way, is the Japanese yen currency index. This isn't just the Japanese yen versus another currency pair. This is the Japanese yen currency index. This is a custom-made index that I created that you can import directly into your trading view, get access to our currency indexes. The link is in the description, okay? And that chat room was our smart money chat room where we have syndicates from Goldman Sachs, Citibank, SunTrust, basically piping into a Discord. If you want access to smart money, that's also in the description down below. So where do we see this Japanese yen in the future, right? By the end of the month, because we still got about 14 days until the month's over. Well, right now, since we've seen so much turbulence come in, if I want to go to the weekly real quick, it matters a lot where markets are right now relative to their low and relative to where that next structure is, because that's going to help you gauge how big of a trading opportunity you have from a technical point of view, right? And I know a lot of people think I hammer on technicals in a negative way. Look, technicals are super important, but you have to have context on what's happening in markets. That's what smart money is all about. Smart money traders have context as to why the market's moving. Dumb money traders are simply just staring at this price chart and have no contextual idea why the market is selling off or buying up. And smart money is the best way to trade. I mean, if you don't have context, then how can you really solidify yourself in this business long term? You have to know why markets are moving. All right. So we're still sitting here at a very aggressive Fibonacci low of the 23.6. So right now, many market participants have not priced out that the Japanese yen is going to be okay. Most people are still just sitting on their hands, either saying, hey, this yen is going to go sell side, or they're like, hey, we don't know. But what we can't ignore is the fact that there has been turbulence. And this past 3 weeks of upside is what we've been trading. So Goldman Sachs, they mentioned the 128 on the USDJPY. Again, they're talking about the USDJPY. you should always be careful with reading articles, because when you have the USDJPY and you look at that as like what the yen's gonna do, well, they're factoring in the US dollar component and the Japanese component. What Goldman Sachs should have did, and this is gonna sound crazy, but what Goldman Sachs should have did when they came out with this article on Bloomberg, they should have mentioned the Japanese index and said, hey, this is where our index is, and this is where we think our index could be. Because when you have the US dollar component, obviously you may not hit off on that 123 target, even though the Japanese yen did exactly what you wanted it to do. The US dollar could just be doing something else, which basically pulls you away from that 123 target, if that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about this, comment down below or get inside of Smart Money so you know what's going on. So this is our USDJPY. This is what they were talking about. Ran to the 128, pushed up into the 130s, and now they think that we could trade back down sell side to around this price level. If we zoom on out, you know, these guys, of course, they're swing trading. We're swing trading too. There are sometimes opportunities on a day-by-day basis, but most of the stuff we do is on a swing trading level. They want to see markets back down here on this structure. Let's see what that looks like on a fib. They basically said, hey, look, if we could see this thing trade back down to the 38, in between the 38.2 and that 23.6, then I guess they're going to hit off on whatever target they're looking for. For me, if the Japanese yen really starts to see a little bit more inflation and the BOJ comes in and does some type of monetary policy effort to counteract that inflation, then you will see a massive surge on the Japanese yen, and we could actually see this thing back down sell side, easily hitting off on that 38.2. And if that happens in synchronicity with the US dollar getting weaker, then yeah, we could easily head back down to that 50% level there. And this is all, again, just hypothetical. We would need to see the Bank of Japan initiate some kind of monetary policy to calm down what we see happening right now on the inflationary side. Guys, this is, again, I guess another Smart Money tutorial as to how we've evaluated a particular currency and how that's played out for us quite well. If you guys have any questions when it comes to fundamentals, this is really one of the best resources on YouTube, because we're going into the nitty-gritty as to exactly why markets are moving. We're just not doing like Fibonacci tutorials or how to use TradingView. I'm assuming you guys know that stuff already. I want to talk about exactly what we see happening in markets and how you can basically use that information contextually to make better trading decisions. All right, so get inside of Smart Money, get your currency indexes as well. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace out.